When I say this, I'm speaking to all my young niggas. I'm not speaking to you old cats who done been through it and you done ran through the ringer and all this. Because y'all know what I'm about to say is the fucking truth. And if you old and you think I'm lying, you're a damn fool. Buying a gun don't make you tough. It really doesn't. Now, you can hurt somebody with that gun. That gun won't hurt nobody, but you will with that gun. But having a gun don't make you tough. I don't I don't know if y'all know it, but the majority of the cats that I knew, they got murdered, had a gun on them. Yeah, they was strapped. You know, I jumped off the porch real young. A lot of people don't realize it, but I've been off the porch since I was like 5. I'll be 48 this year. I've been through some ups and some downs. You can check my police record, no ratting, nothing. If I get caught for doing something I ain't got no business, I took my charge. And I ain't never run from the police. Instead, I walk up to them talking. And cats used to wonder. I remember Joey told me cats were like, Ace, he friendly with the cops. No, I just wasn't scared of him. See, most niggas break out running. I don't, because I ain't scared of them. Anything they could do me, I could do them. So I treated them like I treated every other nigga on the street, every other person. Talk to them normal. If they get mad at me and go to yelling at me, cats will tell you, I go to yelling at them. When they planted crack on me, I ran the detectives, the homicide detectives and shit out the fucking neighborhood. And they told the judge and the DA, well, the DA told the judge that I was harassing them. They tried to lock me up behind that shit, talking about I had traffic attachments in Gretna. I don't be in Gretna. They was talking about Kenner because I did have some tickets in Kenner because I didn't like paying my fucking tickets. I was like, what the fuck I'm getting them money for? I ain't hurt nobody. And I really think that's some bullshit. If I ain't hurt nobody, why the fuck I gotta pay you? Just because I'm going a little fast, man? Fuck that shit. That's some bullshit. That's a money racket. But I was in the elevator when they was calling my fucking name after court, talking about you gotta wait here. It's a Friday. You gotta wait here, Mr. Lutcher. I ain't waiting no fucking well. As soon as they let out court, I went jumped in that fucking elevator, me and Joey. And they coming out and yelling my fucking name. I was gone. I went straight to Kenner and paid that fucking ticket, then I went home. But anyway, back to what I'm getting at. I jumped off the porch early, like 5 years old. I'll be 48 in a few months. I ain't get a game up until 2014. I tried to give it up before then, but they kind of forced me back in because a lot of people don't realize cops, when you give up the game and cops know you've been hustling and all this stuff, but they can't pin nothing on you, then they try to set you down anyway because they couldn't catch you. You gave up the game. All right, we can't catch you. We're going to set you down anyway for what you did in the past. And they tried to set me down. Well, they ain't tried. They planted weed on me. And they set me down. Now, some cats are different than me. Going in prison, some cats, they go to NOI or they become Christians and stuff like that, or they become more of a criminal. Me, I just reverted back to my old ways. If I'm around a bunch of savages, I'm going to be a savage. If I'm around a bunch of nerds, I'm going to be a nerd. If I'm around a bunch of sports fans, I'm going to be a sports fan because all that is in me. Even though I study my Bible and been studying it since I was, what? Oh, man. When did I first start studying my Bible? I think I was like 11 years old, maybe younger. I can't remember now. I've been studying it so long that it don't even matter when I started. I just know I love God and I want to do right. But certain circumstances you put in, you can't do what the Christians think you should do. So when I went to prison, I kind of reverted back to my old self. That was just to survive. Because if I'm around a bunch of savages and cats cutting up, all right, I'm going to cut up right there with you. You won't go there. I can go there. I don't want to, but you ain't give me no choice. But anyway, when I got out in 2014, I gave the game up. I really was trying to give it up before then, but I had been on a run for 2 years. Well, I was on a run for 2 years, and I was on paper that I was gonna have to back up them 2 years. So when they caught me, they tried to give me 10. But I was fighting that to the death because they illegally searched my car. I went to fucking Kenner messing with this broad, and I had just dropped her off, and she still wanted me to come back. And me being a dumbass, I drove back over there just to talk. We could have talked on the fucking phone. How you miss me and we on the phone? I don't get that shit. But anyway, they tried to give me 10 years, but I was fighting that shit. I called like 60 days in a hole or something like that. And I still was fighting that shit. I'd rather sit in the motherfucking hole in Gretna than take that 10 years. Because I got kids out here I need to feed and take care of and just raise properly. And I think I did a pretty good job to say I'm an alcoholic. My kids turned out great. I mean, they might have their little mouth problems and stuff like that, talking trash. Well, my son, he used to get in a little trouble, but he done got all that straight. And they great kids. They doing great in school and all this stuff. And I'm proud of them. They overcame my illness. And I always put in them, don't ever drink alcohol. And I'll tell everybody that don't ever drink alcohol. That shit is worse than heroin. And if you don't believe me, ask your doctor. It's easier to kick heroin than it is to kick alcohol. Then when you do kick it, you liable to have seizures, heart attacks, all kinds of shit. That's if you're an alcoholic, like me. And you don't find out you're an alcoholic till you quit alcohol. That's when you know you're an alcoholic. Trust me, the science gonna show and you're gonna be like, God damn, what the fuck did I do to myself? But I gave the game up and I just start paying attention to things because I'm one of them dudes that you ask something about the Bible. I might not know the exact chapter, but I can tell you what it said. I sit down even without the book. It's like when I sit at my sister's house, I used to go by my cousin and he'll be preaching and stuff. And without me having a book, I could quote the scriptures. A lot of people don't know that about me. I know that book real good. Real good. Because I'm a firm believer in God. And God don't give you nothing that you can't handle. And he don't give you nothing that you don't deserve. See, a lot of my hard times, I deserve that. But I'm getting off track. them guns. You buy that gun, and all of a sudden you think you a tough guy. That gun don't mean shit. When you going up against somebody who hardened in them streets and used to using them guns against people, now you might buy that gun and go to the gun shop and be at target practice and all this stuff. Yeah, you'll aim real good at that paper. But when people go to busting back at you and you in all out gunfights, shit, that practice you had in there don't mean shit. Don't mean shit. So if you think you got a gun and you became a tough guy because you got a gun, remember there's people out here that are trained to kill and have been killing people for years. Years. You get fucked up and you fucking get mad at somebody and you toe up and you pull a gun on them. My daddy, see, I was raised by murderers and gangsters and drug dealers, which in a way some of it coincide, but I don't consider a murderer just because you murder somebody, you're a gangster. And just because you sell drugs don't make you a gangster. See, gangsters carry a certain demeanor, and you could tell it. A gangster will try to talk you down and talk you out of the situation and find a peaceful resolution. But in the back of their head, they thinking that if this motherfucker tries something, he a dead man. I mean, you gotta just know him to understand it. But my pops, he got murdered by the police. But back in the Gap, Pops was a gangster to the point where hitmen used to be scared of him. You know, the hitmen, they used to have to get high to go and kill people. Pops used to do it on a sober mind, so they feared him. And he didn't discriminate. Man, woman, he didn't care. Now, he ain't play with children. That's one thing I give Pops. He don't play with no kids. Now, he gonna fuss at you. He don't care who your parent is. He might pull off his belt and whoop your ass. No matter who your parent is. But he taught me a lot about guns. Not directly, but indirectly. I used to watch how he carry himself and the things he'll say. That's why to this day I ain't got no tattoos. Then I studied in the Bible where you're not supposed to scar your body. So that kept me from doing it. Now I do have gold teeth now, but I ain't get them till my teeth start going bad. You know, me and Jolly Ranchers are two closer friends. I love Jolly Ranchers. The hard ones, the hard candy. But usually I used to watch how they moved, and they always wanted you to look at them as an upstanding citizen. See, that was the real gangsters I know. These cats with all these tattoos on their face and all this. No, 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 dude. You're a crash test dummy. The real gangsters blend in with society. And you don't know they're a gangster unless you in the game. That's the real gangsters. But y'all getting these guns. Don't be threatening nobody with no guns. I remember my little cousin. God rest his soul. He didn't even know we was cousins. Indirectly cousins. Because his cousins, well, His family is married into part of my family. We wasn't blood, but I still looked at him as my little cousin. A beef broke out. So one day I catch him by himself. And I'm like, man, y'all gotta squash that, man. Y'all beefing with people too close to y'all, and y'all knew these cats, man. Squash that. And he looked at me, he said, Ace, I'm trying to be like you. I ain't have no comeback. I really didn't have no fucking comeback. My mind drawed a blank, and I regret it. Because it was more I could have told him. I could have sat down with him and really talked to him. Because I was an idiot at a certain time in my life. And plus the fact that I'm bipolar. I'm diagnosed as manic depressive schizophrenic, plus I suffer from PTSD. Like I'm really mental like that. If I don't take psych meds, I might go off the hinges. Now I ain't gonna do no Kanye West stuff. That dude is weird. I don't know what's going on, homie. He a fucking weirdo. But I tend to flash out, lash out, and all kinds of stuff when I ain't on my meds. It don't take much to trigger me. And then it's like the world just get dark. And I get depressed. And, well, I'm not going to go into all that. But I should have talked to him. Then when I sat up there, I ended up going to prison. You know, like I said, I went to prison. And then next thing you know, a few months, maybe a year later, I hear he dead from a gunshot wound. And to this day, it bothers me that I didn't tell that young man what he needed to hear. It bothers me to this day. So I'm telling y'all what y'all need to hear. Do not aim your guns at your people. If you're going to loan them money, don't loan him more than you can give away. If you can't take that loss, don't give it to him. Because it's not worth hurting your people. And them guns don't make you hard. All the hard niggas in the graveyard, they not in prison. In case you don't know. Because I'm going to tell you like this. You go find you a steel beam. Punch that bitch and see which one break first. Then you going to know what hard is. Or let a motherfucker stab you and watch how easy that fucking knife go up in you. You ain't nothing but a bag of water and some bones. You're not hard. For all the cats who've been shot, you know I'm telling the truth. You're not hard. Man, leave that shit alone, man. All that want to be hard gangster because you got a gun or because you got a whole bunch of friends with you, man. Look, all right, all them friends with you and y'all hard together. But what's going to happen if y'all do something and y'all get separated and you in prison or in jail by yourself and you bump into them dudes y'all was beefing with or you bump into one of them? You still hard? Man, get you an education. Start your own business. You ain't got to work for nobody. If you do work for somebody, stack your little money It don't matter if you only stacking $50 a week. It all add up. After a few years, start your own business. Do what you really love doing. Invest in what you really love doing. Find you a wife or a husband. Have you some kids. And make sure you instill the proper values in your kids so they can set up there and have kids and install the proper values. And that's the way we're going to break this curse. And stay in that Bible. I ain't telling you just study the 66 books that's in the regular Bible, because I have the Bible with all the books. I got a Bible that has all the books that the Ethiopian Bible has. And that was the first Bible that's actually, well, the oldest, rather. But stop running around trying to be a tough guy. And don't try to be no player either. A lot of these cats, all right, they ain't gonna be no gangster. They ain't gonna hurt a bunch of people, but they gonna be a player sleeper with all these different women. Man, you crazy. Oh, I got 3 girlfriends. Boy, you nuts. Shit, it's hard enough to deal with one woman. 3? Sound foolish.